Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is still doing well. Welcome to today's bonus upload. Before we jump on into it, a couple quick links. As many of you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, channel membership, and the merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon, PayPal, and channel membership is in the description below. Merch displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons, narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It does not cost a cent. Click that like button, takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative uploads that I put out daily, click the bell icon. And folks, please, leave a comment and share this video. Why? Well, these things really do help the channel to continue to grow and go. They definitely do matter and they are appreciated. And with that, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's jump in to today's bonus, shall we? Alright guys, so I've got an array of just absolutely terrifying experiences. Also a video clip that is hard to debunk. I can't, and I was there. Let's get into it. Tonight's first encounter. This took place around 2 years ago. I was with some friends one night, just the usual hanging out and enjoying our time and all, until a friend of mine decided that we should go to Stagecoach Road. Stagecoach Road is an old road they used, apparently, back during the Civil War days, transporting goods and stuff to towns nearby. This road is in East Texas, in case any of y'all are wondering. The road is supposedly haunted by soldiers from back in the day and other things such as the devil, Bigfoot, and Goatman. I never believed that this road was haunted due to me going there during the day. I've gone at night before, but only felt pressure on me, maybe due to the fact that I was afraid of the dark dirt road, but nothing more. Anyway, my friends and I went. My friend, who had just gotten a new truck, said let's take it down there since it's a lot more efficient, I guess, to take that. We got there and got out and walked around and talked, and my friend started to vape until my cousin said, let's go to the supposed haunted bridge. And, well, we went. So I called shotgun since I didn't want to be in the back, since I was low-key afraid to go, but I went since I was being made fun of. While heading there, my cousin sticks his head out and yells, "Where's the ghost at? Y'all can't touch us." I told him to chill, and he did, to my surprise. We then arrived at the bridge, and it was pretty old and not safe if you ask me. But then my cousin got the brilliant idea to turn the truck off and lights and wait. So we did, and after a minute, which seemed like forever, I felt a pressure of not being wanted there, and I asked if anyone else felt it, and they said no. So I told my friend driving, let's go, I don't feel comfortable. He turned the truck on and we drove off. He then drives towards the exit to the highway but decides to turn around because he wanted to drive around some more. We then go to the bridge again but don't stop this time. Now this next part I cannot make up. I've never seen anything like this happen before. There was no rain, no wind, nor animals in sight. As we are about to pass this tree, a branch, I'd say around 3 feet, flies out from behind the tree and into the road. My friend immediately guns the gas and speeds on this dirt road. You're not supposed to drive fast on the road due to big holes and rough terrain. But we were all in shock, and he didn't care. He wanted out of there ASAP. During the fight or flight moment, my other friend in the back starts saying that something is behind us and coming up fast. But he was buzzed, so I don't know if he was just talking or being for real. My cousin wanted to look, but my friend said, "No, don't. I don't think it wants us to look." At that point, I'm scared out of my mind, and so are my friends. We managed to get out into this road that connects to the dirt road with some houses and even a church nearby. My friend decides to try this thing on his truck where he shifts manual or something like that, and it suddenly revs hard by itself, and I asked him why he was doing that, and replied saying, "Wasn't. Now, we are like, WTF is going on?" We get off and check the truck to make sure nothing's wrong, and then my cousin screams and points behind his head where handprints of someone, and you can clearly see them. None of us ever went to the back of the truck nor touched the window. So we all get in the truck and drive back into town and go to a gas station where we saw handprints of what seemed like kids. We are all confused on who or what could have done this. I mean, no one had hands that small or even covered with dirt to pull it off. I've not gone back down that road since that day, and I'm not sure if I ever will go back. Whatever was on that road wanted us to know it was there. Tonight's second encounter. Now, there's a park that's a few blocks away from my childhood home. There have been a lot of weird experiences I had with my childhood group of friends. A few examples are weird, warlike, or Jumanji-type drums that would play while we were deep on the trails. People seeing lights flickering randomly in the woods, and there should not be lights at dusk. People feeling like they were being watched or followed when they were alone. As a kid, my local community decided to build a jungle gym and a few swings, as well as a shelter with picnic tables. There was a ceremony, and it was a huge success. Lots of trips there as a kid, and a lot of fun. In high school, I remember going there at night to clear my head. This was 2010. I'd sit out on the swings and just text. One night, I heard my text tone go off, and I looked at my phone, but no notifications. It happens again, and I realize that it's in the woods behind me, about 100 feet or so away. It happens again. I was freaked out, so I headed the other way and got on the road and started walking towards home. The notifications kept going off in those woods, so I ended up jogging and then running until I couldn't hear them anymore. I told some of my friends about this, and we ended up deciding we were going to go back the next weekend and walk the trails at night to see if we could get it to happen again. I was hesitant at first, but we're all pretty big teens. One of my friends is a boxer, another a lineman. It's November now, and the night we got together it was kind of sleeting. Not hard enough to be a problem, just hard enough to be annoying. So we head to the park and get into the woods, walking around with our flashlights. We're not taking it seriously. We're laughing and joking. We end up in a kind of field area near a fishing pond. All simultaneously, we kind of felt uncomfortable and uneasy. We more or less all did not want to wuss out, so we started across the field, and immediately I got goosebumps, and my neck hairs are standing up. We get to the other end of the field, and someone jokes about it not being so bad. There were 4 of us, and we all nervously laughed before hearing a loud crash in the wooded area we had just gotten to. All our flashlights are scanning the trees frantically. Me and another friend turn to check our flank and saw something we agree we cannot begin to make sense of. There, for a brief second in the field on the walkway, we both saw a creature that didn't move like any animal we had ever seen. It was almost luminescent. As the flashlight seemed to shine back at us as it hit its skin, this thing looked like what I can only compare it to the rake. It was bony, almost humanoid, but it was hunkered down and drugged its body with its front arms rather than moving with its back legs. It was just slithering into the field. The 2 other guys, still scanning the tree line, shout they saw something and just took off toward where we saw that thing in the field. Brain off and fight or flight kicking in. The other 2 of us just take off after them, and we run, not stopping until we got out of the woods and onto the road. We stopped and stood there. We had our flashlights, all looking at the woods, the sleet and our tired breathing the only sounds we could hear. Then the same crash again and what sounded like running footsteps. We ran all the way to my house. This is what my other friends saw when they were looking toward the woods. Something about 7 to 8 feet tall poke its head around the tree, only 20 feet into the tree line. They said it had the same luminescent skin that their lights reflected at them, but it had slits for eyes like a cat, but the pupils were darker than black. They almost absorbed the light, contrasting to the skin. Sorry if it's hard to follow. This is the first time I've written this down and tried to share. We all remain friends since, and none of us can explain what we saw and experienced that night. I couldn't sleep for weeks, and was so uncomfortable living so close to that park. I rigged my windows up with cans with pebbles in them, so that if something somehow messed with them while I slept, I would be aware. We all kind of agree that with the fact that my text tone was repeated and other stories we've heard about these creatures, we all decided that that's what's out in those woods. Since then, other people that I have never told this story to have also mentioned some bizarre encounters out there, but nothing like this. I'm not sure I know anyone who has been to that park and into those woods that didn't have a weird story to share. Tonight's third encounter. There's this forest near my house here in southeast England that me and my friends use for mountain biking, but it's got a very uncomfortable, strange vibe to it. The only person we ever see here is the same older man walking his dog, but he always appears when we're really feeling uneasy due to the energy. He will suddenly walk past and you never see him coming. There's a tree that has become a memorial for a dog who has died, coincidentally a German Shepherd, same breed as the man has and looks very similar. Sometimes in the furthest corners of the woods I distinctly hear a dog collar behind me or nearby. Here's where things get a bit strange. There's a spot we use for campfires and drinking. We're there late at night at around 9 or 10, but gradually begin feeling creeped out as the energy starts to increase. We started hearing very strange noises. It definitely was not a fox. It sounded very sweet and innocent at first until it turned into a blood-curdling shriek. We quickly packed our stuff and went on a mission to get out of there. There's a field that serves as the main access point to the woods. We were using the main path through it and got an overwhelming sense of dread, sadness, and almost anger mixed together. In the bushes to the side of the path we heard running, very, very heavy running, and all of a sudden we started hearing the most horrible growling and screaming noises getting worse and worse until we got to the exit of the field and it stopped. We didn't hear it run away, but all those noises and running just stopped. We all had strange dreams that night. One time I heard very heavy running footsteps in the brush right behind me while my friend was peeing. I turned around to see if it was him, but there was no way it was because he hadn't moved from his spot. He came back and asked if I had heard the running too. A couple days go by. I went back there for the first time in 5 months alone. As I moved away from this local area, the strange feeling was still there, and in some areas felt like it had gotten worse. But I didn't let it bother me. I went back again, and there was heavy rainfall the last couple of days, so the ground was muddy. I kept hearing a dog collar that follows me around, and I noticed strange hoof marks in the ground, but they were very inconsistent. Groups of them would appear, and then there wouldn't be anything until maybe 15 or 20 meters up the path. They definitely weren't there a couple days ago in these woods. I have a few theories about this. I think it could be a similar presence to the Goatman, as he often linked to canine deaths, a potential cryptid activity. The hoof marks are consistent, very unlikely and plausible. It could be the devil's hoof marks. The presence definitely feels demonic. The forest is potentially a dumping ground for bodies. There was a suspected murder in the local town and the police searched the woods, it would explain the strange presence, but not the cryptid activity. 4 people with dirt bikes sometimes use the forest, and one of them could have died there and haunts it. Tonight's 4th encounter. When I was growing up, my family lived in this huge, beautiful Southern-styled home. I loved it. I have very good memories there. However, it was the most active home of all that I've lived in since. Very active, but only to my mother and I. My 2 brothers and my dad never had any experiences. My mom had a couple. I was the only girl and about 3 when we moved in, and I had a lot. At first, being so young, I didn't even think about the experiences. I didn't know any better. Later, I'd find out they were not what other people see or interact with normally. I will just tell you all the ones that stand out the most. One night I woke up and rolled over. I was barely awake, and it was dark in my room. I didn't have a nightlight. There was some black thing lingering at the foot of my bed. I couldn't make it out right then. I sat upright in my bed and tried to make it out. I still couldn't do it. So I got my knees and leaned towards it. Now remember, the whole room is dark, but I can clearly see it's something there. It's not a figure. It's just suspended in the darkness. As I leaned towards it, within 2 feet, it looked like a hand, but not a hand because it only had 3 fingers, bent slightly. As if they were just hanging there. Had no fingernails but pointed tips. It wasn't connected to anybody either. I just leaned back against my headboard and watched it until I fell back to sleep. It never moved. This happened a couple more times, but it seemed to be closer to me each time. Then one night my cousin stayed over and she slept with me. I woke up and rolled over to face her, and it was right there in my face, hanging directly over her as she slept. It had never been that close before. I was scared, but I could actually reach out and touch it, and I wanted to. I reached my arm out and then pulled it back. I never did touch it. I just watched it until I fell asleep again, and that was the last time I saw it. Fast forward to 10 years, I'm helping my mom in the kitchen with supper. As we're talking, the old house comes up. I finally told her what I saw, and she immediately stopped what she was doing. She asked me more. Then she took out 2 pieces of paper and asked me to draw it. While I was drawing it, she was doing something on the other piece. When I finished, she finished. She asked me to swap the papers. We had drawn the same thing. We both just looked at each other in amazement. She told me that when she was little, she had gone to a slumber party. All the girls slept in the living room floor in sleeping bags. She said she woke up in the middle of the night and saw this claw thing hanging over the next girl next to her. She reached out to touch it, but before she did, the girl screamed loudly. Everyone woke up. The girl was crying and saying someone had pinched her. My mom was accused of doing this. She swore she had never done such a thing, but these girls had been clearly pinched hard enough to draw blood. I've done some research and have not come up with anything. Tonight's final experience. I was raised by my grandmother. My mom was not in my life, so she was my mother figure. I was hanging out with her because we went to the store to get some stuff for my classroom. I'm a teacher and she likes to help out and buy things for me. She's not a scary movie fan, but she loves Stephen King, so I told her I was going to see the second It movie in the theater because I saw the first one. We talked about random stuff for a bit, and I told her about how the woods my aunt used to take her dog in was one of the most haunted places in the area. I asked her if she had ever seen a ghost, and this is what she told me. Back in 1960s, the Michigan State Fair was a big deal. She would go with her friends. One night they were heading back to the car, and a couple of kids approached them and asked for a ride. There was a girl a bit younger than them and a boy much younger than her. She said they both had black hair and they were very pale. She and her friend were freaked out by them. She said they both had this ominous feeling, normally something she would not feel around two kids. She said the girl said something weird along the lines of, "Can you give us a ride? The city my grandmother lived in, since you were heading there." Which is strange because how would they know the name of the city or where my grandmother lived? My grandmother said they were not headed that way. They had to stop by a friend's first. The girl said it didn't matter that they would wait in the car. My grandmother continued on and said that they were most likely spending the night at their friend's because they wanted to head to the fair the next day. She said she could sense the girl was getting mad. They said sorry and walked away very quickly toward the car. My grandmother said she looked back at them, and she could tell and see these little girls' eyes. They were black, lifeless, even though there was a street light nearby. She said when you drove out of this parking lot, you had to drive by where the girl and her brother would have been, but when they drove out, there was no one around. Based on the time it took to leave the area, you would have at least seen them walking away down back to the fairgrounds. My grandmother is convinced that they were ghosts, but I was freaked out thinking it could have been black-eyed kids. Up until this point, I believed in them as much as I believed in Slender Man or anything else. I thought they were made up. I asked her if they said anything strange, like their sentence structure, but she said no, they were just kids. They wore clothes like kids their age, but she said it almost felt like they were void of color, but she doesn't know why she thought that. And my grandmother is only in her 70s. She's all there in the head. I don't think there'd be any reason for her to make something like this up. She's also not an internet person except for old lady video games. So I know she has no idea about BEKs or black-eyed kids. Alright guys, some just absolute horrifying experiences. Wow, I hope you enjoyed them. The video clip is from the trip that my daughter and I took to the Conjuring house. In the basement, there's a room that has the legend or accounts of a crooked neck lady. And apparently children had seen her. The Perrin family had seen her. Multiple people have seen her. There's a lot of accounts. And there's a well in the room, a indoor well. They used to put them outside back in the day. But if you owned a lot of property and your neighbor wanted your property, they'd poison your well. Now, it's said that this Conjuring house, the Conjuring house, that's where we were, no one really knows where the activity comes from. I had spoken to both prior owner and new owner. Corey, awesome previous owner, his name was Corey. Corey and his wife owned it. And the new owner is a real estate agent out of Massachusetts. And supposedly it's thought that the evil comes from the aquifer that is underneath the home. It's limestone underneath it as well. So there is no 100%. Bathsheba, the story of Bathsheba, she was not a witch. She was never tried for murdering children. If you haven't seen the almost 2-hour video of me and my daughter at the Conjuring house, I'd check it out because I talk a lot of historic facts that the people, when they go there, don't. They play off of the legend and, work the legend to their liking. you know, talking about Bathsheba and how she was a witch and this and that, when she wasn't. There's no historical document of her actually killing children or anything. It was a made up tale back, not back then, but just recently. So really awesome. But I catch actual evidence of the crooked neck lady. This is the room that's a hot spot. Alright, and this is where in this room people say that in that box the crooked neck lady is seen. In that box, this right here. And then you've got a well. Now, an interesting thing about the well is that a long time ago, people used to have their wells outside, but the original family that owned this house, so people, when they had their wells outside, other people would poison them. And then these guys were so loaded, or not loaded, but wealthy, that they actually had their well right there inside their house, which is a rarity. So, and right there is where the crooked neck lady had been seen. All right, so here's the EMF. This is where the crooked neck lady is said to be spotted.
There's a picture. Look at right there.
Haven't seen it. That's the crooked neck lady. Huh.
Oh, and that one.
And right there. So.
Oh.
Did you see it? It went up like a little bit.
Mm-hmm. This one I had it on the
okay. Alright, so that's a cool picture though. Good eye, Bill. Good eye. I wouldn't have saw that, and I forgot about it actually being there. Now. Oh, Bill, come here. Holy shit.
Look at that.
It's in there. There's two. Whoa. It's like they're trying to get out.
Yeah.
Hold that right there. Wow. Where'd the other one go? I wonder if it was like they were trying to get out of this room. They were right here.
Really? I thought one of them was sitting in that red chair behind you.
Nothing. There's two. Whoa. It's like they're trying to get out.
Yeah.
Is the room that's a hot spot. All right, guys. So that is an SLS camera. In my eyes, my daughter's eyes, there's no debunking that. We caught evidence of the crooked neck lady and another stick figure in that same room. You know, I don't really care if people don't believe it, because I was there and I know how haunted and how heavy the feeling of something, a much more powerful presence than I, and it does have an evil feeling to it as well. And there you have it, folks. I hope you all enjoyed today's bonus as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. I'd like to thank you for supporting the channel. After all, it is your support that helps the channel to continue to grow and go, and what gives us all a place and a chance to share our experiences and theories judgment-free. Everyone is simply treated with the respect that we deserve. Please stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant, keeping an eye on our children, pets, family, and friends. These creatures are real. These events have happened. Share this information with those you love and care about, and it may just help save their lives someday. Until next time, never stop asking questions, never stop searching for the truth, and God bless you all.